Good morning, good afternoon, good day. Oh, I haven't seen that face in a while, ma'am. That cute little. But anyways, how are you doing today? You look very happy, nonetheless.
I am happy. It is like this topic today means a lot to me as a female and as someone that understands the basic necessities of life. So I'm super amped up. I am super amped up. And Anne Marie, take this cue, girl. Make Chris squirm because this is a topic that he only knows a little bit about, but we got to normalize it. So please,
Listen,
girl, I'm so excited for this.
see, you're amped up to make me uncomfortable, and I'm amped up because I just got done seeing Metallica, and I got to meet Pantera.
Oh,
My
yes, that's
bucket
right.
list was checked. I was so honored to be able to talk to Phil Anselmo about mental health and walking tall movement, but also, Sia, believe it or not, the topic of diapers and ladies' hygiene and period products is something I'm passionate about too, and I'll tell you why later. So let's get to that intro, and we'll get Anne-Marie on here shortly.
Let's do this.
See, I gotta. Well, first off, I gotta thank you as I always do for that amazing introduction. Um, like I said, I just heard Metallica play live a couple nights ago, and it's better than them, way better than them. So kudos to you. But we don't often talk about our topics really intimately, you and I, before we have our guests on the show. And for the first time, I'm like sensing in you like some like, yes, I want to hear about this. I want to talk about it. Is it because you think I'm going to be uncomfortable, or is it because you have a really separate and personal passion for this topic?
Both. And don't get me wrong, every
Oh,
single
you want me to be
episode we
uncomfortable?
I mean, let's be honest, there's nothing more fun in life to see your buddies like squirm a little bit because that's what buddies are for, right? So yeah, no, I mean, this is a topic that I don't think people understand is a need, right? And I think you and I talked about this earlier about a different client of ours, which was people just don't know what they don't know because they don't have needs for it, right? And so they don't think about it. And so that's where I feel like this is gonna be one of those opportunities for us where we're just gonna rock it. So yeah.
Yeah,
If you
I
squirm a
hope.
little bit, yeah, it makes me
I mean,
happy.
I'll
Come
squirm,
on.
I'm sure, but yeah, listen. While I am a parent of two children, I understand the cost of diapers, the necessity, etc. Obviously, I'm not a woman; I don't have a need for period products, but I understand the cost of things. But as a parent, right, and having a need, and you may not know, but Lucas, our son, my son, he was in the NICU for 11 days, and the expenses that our family encountered for parking at the local community hospital downtown Chicago for those 11 days was unsurmountable. It was amazing, right? And so to now know that there's families that need help for diapers, and to have an organization like Keeping Families Covered, be out there in the world to do the good that's needed is just so admirable. And I'm so excited to have Miss Marie Mathis on today's show. She is the founder and CEO of Keeping Families Covered and is just doing amazing work. To date, they have handed out over 8 million diapers. I think the number is
Jeez.
8.3 last we checked. And they have handed out 1.1 million period supplies to local women in need of the Lake County and McHenry County area here in the Chicagoland area. So, Sia, you are impressive, but I don't know if we can top nearly 10 million products handed out. So we're going to kick you backstage,
No.
and we're going to welcome Anne-Marie on. And we might
Please,
give her a
please,
big
please
round
do.
of
And hey, I was gonna applause, but we'll applause when we get her on. So let me bounce out here. Bye.
Bye. There's the transition. There she is, Anne-Marie. How are you? I don't know if you were able to hear. I don't know if you were able to hear our not so astute introduction of you, and as you know, I think the world of you and Keeping Families Covered and all the work you do. And I threw some data out there, but I'm so excited to have you on the show. So please let listeners, watchers, viewers know who you are and all the bits and pieces of Keeping Families Covered that are so integral to your organization.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much, Chris, for having me. Thank you, Sia, as well, for the amazing kudos. My name's Marie Mathis. I am the founder and CEO of Keeping Families Covered, and we are a nonprofit organization based in Waukegan, Illinois. And we provide support to individuals and families by providing free diapers and period products. And our service area really is Northern Illinois and Southeastern Wisconsin. So our primary geographic areas would be Lake County, Illinois, McHenry County, and then obviously Southeastern Wisconsin. And so our mission really is to provide the basics that individuals and families need to thrive.
It's so simple, but so complicated, right? Like handing out 8 million diapers, 1 million period supplies doesn't just come by as simply as you made it sound. And the work that you're doing is just so integral in the local communities of which you serve. So I got to ask you, like, how did you start this? Like, how does one wake up one day and say, like, I'm going to give away 10 million products to families in need and want to do more? Like, tell the story of how Keeping Families Covered came to be, please.
Yes, I will. So I first and foremost am a mother myself. I have 7 children. My oldest is 15 and my youngest is 6. And really the idea to start this organization came out of something that I had been doing regularly, which was donating items that my kids had outgrown to other families, other organizations. And just in my work at the time, I spent over 20 years in corporate America and really just started to see a need for things that I already had. And that's really where the idea to start the organization came about. So when I first started it, I ran it out of my basement and collected items from my own kids, from families and friends. At the time, we were also offering clothing and shoes and baby gear. And from there, it just expanded and evolved. And the more that I started to work with families, the more I recognized that they had needs beyond clothing, shoes, and baby gear. There was a desperate need for diapers, for wipes, for formula. And then, fast forward, had to move out of my basement, outgrew it, got a storage facility, filled that floor to ceiling within 2 years. And then ended up, my husband, who also has his own business, ended up saying, hey, why don't I give you an office and I'll give you some warehouse space. Well, then I overtook half of his warehouse, and then ended up saying, okay, I've got to take this show on the road. Essentially, what happened, I got to get out of here because I was blowing the doors off. And so it's just been an amazing evolution from, the time that, what started as an idea and a collection of things just has really grown into something well beyond my imagination. It's amazing to see the work that we've done and just how we continue to recognize, identify gaps that exist in the communities that we serve, and really try to tailor our program to meet those needs and fill those gaps.
Yeah, I'm smiling ear to ear because I know exactly how you feel when you're talking about the work that you're doing, right? And it's often folks like yourself, myself, and some of the other great partners of ours who create and develop great organizations like Keeping Families Covered comes out of initial need or initial recognition of, hey, I could help others or I need the help myself, right? Like growing up, in a middle-class family as I did, I was wearing hand-me-downs up until like I got my first job from my cousin, right? And so to have an outlet and a resource or a vehicle to transfer those goods, as you were probably doing early on in your stages of Keeping Families Covered, had to be so rewarding. But then you started to niche down, right? You started to really focus on more hygienic supplies, I think. And so talk a little bit about, if you don't mind, like how did that come to be? Where did you really start to really transition to that focus? Because you can't be everything to everybody, right?
Correct. And that's a great point. And I think that what I've really tried to do over the last 14 years is really focus on the things that we do well. And when we got into diapers, which was back in 2014, we joined the National Diaper Bank Network. And that was a pivotal moment for the organization because we got support. We had a partner in that process. And we were able to grow our distribution model when we joined that network. And I think our first year in 2014, I distributed about 75,000 diapers. And now we're doing over 1 million a year. And diapers has always been our flagship program. And so as we've continued to grow over the past several years, I think that you also have to take a step back and look at your program overall and what things are there, is there demand for? What are people asking for? What things do you offer that maybe no longer makes sense or somebody else out there is doing better at, right? So I think it kind of becomes a game of staying in your lane, and I think that's the bigger that we've gotten and the more that we understand the communities that we're serving, I think we really try to focus on what people need the most. And what we've identified is diapers and period products. And so we've made a shift and we've decided to get away after 14 years of doing baby gear and clothing and shoes. We know that those things are still needed. But what we also know is that there are other organizations that already exist in the community that are focused on those things. And so, I think it's that constant kind of taking a look at your program, understanding what the true need is, and making sure that your program aligns with that. And that's what I feel is going to make us successful moving forward into the future.
Yeah, it's a great topic of conversations for professionals in the nonprofit industry, because I think what often gets overlooked, and I think people like yourselves or folks who work full time for nonprofit organizations, there is a high degree of business to be considered when it comes to running an organization like Keeping Families Covered, right? And what I heard you describe is just that, honing in your business, honing in your mission, so that way you can keep focused and you can actually scale into verticals, into areas of which you really, really succeed in, right?
Right.
Because let's face it, folks like yourself, folks like me, we want to be everything to everybody. We have charitable hearts. We're philanthropic in nature. We're not going to say no. And if somebody asked you to find a baby grand piano, I bet you do it for them, right? But at the case of the matter is, you're not good at finding baby grand pianos. So let's stay in our lane, as you said. And it's just such a great testament to who you are and to the trajectory and where I know Keeping Families Covered is going to go with your leadership, Anne Marie, because you have that ability to stay in your lane and be really proud about it, and not, again, try to be everything to everybody. So kudos to you. And again, 10 million products handed out already to date is like a testament to that. But we do have a question already, so I'm gonna ask of you, if you don't mind. I would like for you to just to articulate the value of having access to diapers and period products for those in need. Like, what are some of the sentiments you feel from your recipients? What are some of the success stories you've been able to be a part of by handing out the supplies as you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, as you mentioned earlier in this conversation, access to diapers and period products, they're just overlooked. I think that there's a misconception in the community about both of those items, and that, oh, well, if you've got a mom or a dad who needs that for their child, or a girl or a woman who needs period products, that they can just go and get those at the store. But what I think really needs attention is that not everyone has the means. And the bulk of who we serve are low income individuals and families. And, they are struggling to make ends meet. They're struggling to pay their bills. They're struggling to survive. And some of these families, they're working 2 and 3 jobs and they still can't make it. And I think that people just automatically assume that someone who is experiencing diaper need, which, oh, by the way, a recent survey showed 1 in 2 families struggle to provide enough diapers for their kids. 47% of the United States population struggle. And that is just a number that is disturbing on so many levels. I mean, diapers are a basic human need. right? You can say the same about period products. 1 in 3 women struggle to afford and access period products that they need to attend school, go to work, fully participate in daily life. Safety net programs do not cover diapers and period products. And so you can't use SNAP or WIC to help pay for those items. So what does a family or an individual, a single mom, a single dad do when they're struggling to afford these things and there's no federal or state assistance available to help them? That is where our organization and other basic needs organizations like us step in to help to fill those gaps. And so diapers mean that they impact so many things. If a parent cannot provide enough diapers for childcare, that means their child can't access early childhood education. And if they don't have that, then that means the parent can't go to work. And so that just continues that cycle of poverty and struggle. And so it's such a simple thing, but it can make such a huge impact long term.
Yeah, believe me, as a single dad who has a 9-year-old going on 19, I'm already squirming. So this is the part of the show where Sia gets excited and sees me squirm a little bit, right? Listen, I'm a dad of a young lady. I spoil the hell out of her. When it comes time for her to have the products that she needs, I'm going to buy the best of the best, right? And I just say it that way. Like, there's no questions asked. She's going to get what she needs. But I'm also squirming in my chair going, how much is that going to cost me? Right? It's an unfair situation that females particularly are put in. And so the work that you're doing is in alleviating, those financial pressures is just so, so, so admirable. And so I can't thank you enough. But as I said earlier, I am a dad. I like to spoil my kids. She's going to get whatever she needs, particularly when it comes to period products. But I want to, oftentimes organizations, charitable, non-for-profit, mission-driven businesses for you will get a bad rap, right? Like it's often, well, you're going to give away things, but what exactly are you giving away? Are you giving away terrible products? Are you giving away? So I want to talk a little bit about what it is that you do give away, the quality of products you provide, but also the partners that help you provide them. I think now's a great opportunity to highlight how the soup is made, if you will. Like what goes into giving these diapers away? 10 million products doesn't happen overnight by one person. So let us into a little bit behind the scenes.
Of course. Yeah. So we are proud members of 2 amazing networks. The first is the National Diaper Bank Network. And so we are one of over 200 member diaper banks across the country doing this work. And Huggies is a founding sponsor of that network. And so because of our membership in that network, we have access to preferred purchasing programs, and we buy at a much higher volume and a lower cost. Typically, we, can get our diapers for less than half of retail. So at the same time, we also buy a very significant amount of products. At
least 8 million diapers, right? At least.
Yeah. So I want to say that, we buy 30,000 diapers is probably our minimum quantity that we purchase at one time, all the way up to a full truckload, which can be over 250,000 diapers. And so we actually purchase 90% of the diapers that we give away to the communities that we serve. And so that is a fantastic partner that we get a lot of support from. And then as on the period product side, we are a member of the Alliance for Period Supplies. And their founding sponsor is You by Kotex, which should be another very recognizable brand for all the ladies out there. And so same type of terms. We have access to preferred purchasing programs. And there also are occasional donations that we'll receive from both networks. That as a member, you get those types of perks. So we give away very high quality products. All the suppliers that we work with are well known, and we're happy to distribute those items.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So shout out to Huggies and shout out to you Kotex. I can't say I knew who you were before you Kotex, but I'm going to definitely find out. So shout
It's
out.
you buy Kotex.
Oh, you buy Kotex. See, that's how much I don't know. So, but kudos to those amazing organizations for uplifting, keeping families covered, and the other 200 organizations in the various networks. But, I heard you say something, and that, of course, me and my fundraising years perk up a little bit, right? You buy, right? Which means you need to have money, okay, to purchase. So talk a little bit about what goes into raising money for keeping families covered. How are your donations solicited? Do you have events? I know we'll talk about casino night coming up here in a bit, but really quickly, just, backtrack a little bit. Who are your donors? What types of funding mechanisms do you have? And how can one support you besides scanning that QR code and kicking a couple bucks your way? How are those donations raised?
Yeah, we actually are 80% of our funding is through grants. So I write anywhere from 25 to 30, sometimes more grants every year. And anybody who writes grants knows that those dollars are never guaranteed from year to year. And so we have been incredibly blessed with some amazing funders that help us really deliver our mission. And the other 20% is a mix of individual donors, board members, families, and just general donations that might result from events that we hold throughout the year.
And I can attest, applying and writing grants is something I don't wish on my worst enemy. Not that I have any, but frankly, it is a job that you have no idea if it's going to be successful or fruitful. And being in your chair as the CEO of Keeping Families Covered, right, to spend all that time, 30 to 40 grants a year, I got to imagine that your time could be better spent. And I don't mean it as if you're not the person to be writing these grants, but as you grow, I could only conceptualize how I foresee this organization growing. And I know you have some staff members, obviously I was fortunate to meet you through Margie, but, talk a little bit about your board. And then, what are your plans for staffing? What are some of your other staff members look like right now?
Yeah, we've got about 8 people on our board currently. We have a couple that are due to roll off soon. So we'll be looking to fill some spots in 2025. And, we have got a governing board right now, and that's kind of our focus. There's been some discussion about whether we should add an associate board, maybe some sort of an advisory committee. So those are all kind of in play at the moment. As far as staffing is concerned, we have 5 employees. And then we have
listen, you started with you. You started with you, right?
Yeah.
And now you have 5 employees and vehicles, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But gosh.
Yeah. So, 4 are part-time, and then myself, I'm full-time. And then we have an amazing team of volunteers. I call them my core team volunteers. So we've got 15 of those. And what I mean by core team is they all have scheduled days and times that they come in consistently every week. And many of them have been with me for at least 5 years or more. So we've just got an amazing team that really helps to just accomplish everything that we do in the community on a daily basis. So
yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, Emery, we've kind of, gotten a really good idea of who you are, who Keeping Families Covered is, and what it is you do. So, talk to me quickly, let a viewer or a listener, immerse themselves in what it feels like and what it looks like to actually be a recipient or to go out into the community and hand out the diapers as you do. I know you guys have vehicles and you go now to various parts of the communities, which is amazing. Talk about the day of. What does it look like when you're dispersing and people are coming for assistance?
Yeah, so the way that our program is designed, we distribute items through 2 channels. A network of community partners, which we currently work with over 60 throughout Northern Illinois and southeastern Wisconsin, excuse me. And then we also do direct service, which that is through our mobile pantry program. So we actually have a fleet of vehicles that goes out to 6 sites in the community multiple times a month. So we do anywhere between 7 to 10 distributions every month. So those distributions are a drive-through format. COVID was an interesting time, as we all know, and we used to do walk-up for those distributions. COVID changed that. We shifted to a drive-through model, and it has worked so well that we haven't gone back. So at some of our larger sites, all of our distributions are 2 hours. At our larger sites, we will give away anywhere from 12 to 16,000 diapers in 2 hours. So we typically will see 200 to 250 families at our 2 biggest distribution locations. We also hand out period products at those distributions as well. We have an amazing partnership with Bombas, so we get a lot of socks that we share with our community. And any other, donations of in-kind items that we might get, we love to just give. And so, I think that what we hear the most is just what a godsend the program is to those we serve. People that you hear are truly struggling, and they've, just run out of options. They feel hopeless, and they need these items, not only for themselves, if you're talking about period products for these women and girls, but diapers for their babies. And
Sure.
to be able to provide something so basic, but that's so life-changing, right? It's an incredible feeling. I mean, we've heard some pretty heartbreaking stories from some folks just about using substitute products, t-shirts, turning diapers inside out, rinsing them out, reusing them, keeping a child in a diaper too long because you lack the supply, that you need. And so I think being able to do this for individuals and families, it's really incredibly rewarding. And we just love being able to connect with people. They know us. We get to know who we're serving. And we have a lot of amazing partners as well who have been with us for many years, who are helping us to connect these items with those that need them most.
Gosh, there I was squirming again a little bit because as I mentioned earlier, I like to spoil my kids, as we all do, as best as we can. And like when my kids were infants, if I even sensed they were thinking about going to the bathroom in their diaper, I was like, oh, they need a new one. Let's get a new one. Let's get a new one. Yeah, no, I don't want my kids to have a rash, right? And so, yes. And again, I had the ability, and my family at the time had the ability and afforded the diapers and supplies we needed. But talk really briefly about, Emery, if you don't mind, what does it look like? Can anybody come and take your supplies? And I don't say take in the sense of take, but can anybody be a recipient? Is there qualifications that are needed? How do you vet some of these families, or what does that look like in itself?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of my goals in developing this mobile pantry model was making sure that it was accessible to everyone. And what we will never do is expect an individual or a family to jump through hoops to get the products that they truly need. And that is one of the things that we've always focused on, is eliminating those barriers to access these critical needs. And so our registration process is a one-time registration. It is via our website, and you sign up once and you get put into our system. The only thing that we ask is for a government issued photo ID. It can be a driver's license, state ID, military ID. It could be a passport, a visa, whatever. And then we require a birth certificate for any child in need of diapers. And that's simply to verify age, because we do have a cutoff. We provide diapers for kids up to age 3, pull-ups, training pants for kids up to age 4. At that point, a child does age out unless they have a special need. If they have an IEP or a doctor's note, we can continue to provide diapers as long as they need them. And I should add, we also do adult incontinence products as well. So just like an infant struggles with access, adults, seniors, disabled, youth, disabled adults have the same struggles. And so again, our mission is to eliminate those barriers and help to get people what they need when they need it.
Yeah, there just goes back to my earlier point of you being such an astute businesswoman. I'm thinking as you're talking, like, well, what about special needs children? Or, hey, I know my aging grandmother when she was alive had, diapers and things of that sort. So you have it all covered. Like it's unbelievable. I'm just so excited to keep this conversation going. But we do have to wrap up shortly. But I want to just get to a few more topics quickly. As you said, you purchase all the supplies. That doesn't come free. So you guys obviously operate on a budget. And so what does that look like? What is your funding needs per year? What is something that if it were to a donation were to come your way that would cover the whole year, what types of funding needs do you have?
It costs us about $1 million to run our program annually.
Yeah.
And so obviously as demand for the program goes up, that number goes up. And we too, just because we're not one nonprofit, doesn't mean that we don't have the same challenges as a for-profit business, right? We're subject to price increases on product, shipping delays, shipment cost increases. And so all of those things are factored into it. And so, it's a moving target, but it's typically around $1 million to run our program every year.
Yeah. It's no surprise, right? Everything is going up and the need is only increasing as things get tighter and tighter for a family like ours. And so if you haven't already, folks, please scan that QR code, send $1 or $2 if you can to Keeping Families Covered so they can continue to do the work they do and to grow. But there are great ways to raise money. You're not always just looking for donors. And as we said earlier, you do have a great fundraising event coming up on September 21st. It's a casino night. So I want to just ask you, talk a little bit about it, hype it up, let's sell some tickets. Let's get some more donations through this conversation. So talk a little bit about that event coming up.
Yeah, sure. So as Chris mentioned, it's Saturday, September 21st from 6 to 10 p.m. at the Lincolnshire Marriott Resort. Tickets are on sale now. They're $175 each, and you can get a link from our website. And there's going to be a lot of great things. Casino games. We're going to have some games that are not catered to anybody that, maybe doesn't want to gamble. We'll have items for you. We're going to have some raffles. We've got music. There'll be food, open bar. And it's going to be a great event. Dress code, we're kind of, it's whatever you're comfortable in. We're kind of not, pigeonholing anybody into a certain dress code. So it's business casual all the way up to cocktail attire, whatever you're comfortable in. Just come and have a great time, and all the proceeds obviously support our program, and it's just going to allow us to serve more people. We're actually looking to purchase some additional vehicles to expand our mobile distribution program into McHenry County, and so our goal is to raise $100,000 to buy 2 new trucks to be able to do that. And so that's what our focus is going to be on from a fundraising perspective this year.
Oh, amazing, amazing, amazing. And I love how you said it, right? It's important for those attending these sorts of events to understand the need, but also what their money is going towards. So folks, if you can, please, September 21st, head out to the Lincolnshire Marriott, go to casino night, help Keeping Families Covered raise $100,000 so they can purchase 2 vehicles. Or better yet, if you have a vehicle to donate or you have the opportunity to connect Anne-Marie with somebody who could donate a vehicle, please do so now. So I want to bring Sia on because I know she wants to just gush over you before we say goodbye. But we're going to give you one more chance, Anne-Marie, to let folks know how they can get a hold of you, where they can find out all your information. But Sia, come on up. I know you want to, praise Anne-Marie and all the work she does. This is where the slow transition. I mean, it's just, 10 million products. Like how does one fathom what that looks like, right? Like, how do you hand out that many? See, are you not coming? There she is. You get mad at me when I call you back, but
I was not prepared. I was like all set to go to like wind us down, but okay. No, this is cute.
Listen, I know you're loving this. So I want to just give you the opportunity to say hello one more time to Anne-Marie, if you ask a question, and then we'll say goodbye for the day.
No, and Anne-Marie, I like the questions have been asked, like, how to qualify, how to reach out, the fact that there's a network outside of what your region of area of coverage. I guess, Are you wanting to remain regional, or do you have aspirations to go national?
I have huge aspirations.
Obviously. Come on. Have you met her? Like, she started by herself. She's now got vehicles and like, come on,
Yeah,
she's going to take over the world.
we have we've got a diaper bank in Lake County. We've got a second facility in McHenry County. I would love to put a satellite facility in southeastern Wisconsin. I would love to expand beyond that and just have pop-ups everywhere. Yes, yes, and yes. I want to do all the things, but
Well, listen, and those things are possible with sponsors and donations and attendance at events like September 21st in Lincolnshire. And I just want to say, this show wouldn't be possible if not for sponsors as well. And so I just want to highlight really quickly a sponsor of mine. So see if you don't mind, Tausi and Janice Shokran is a great supporter of the Appeal and Hail Hail auctions. Got a brief commercial. If you don't know about their product, Anne-Marie, should totally check it out. Maybe we can start giving some away to some of those in need. But Sia, yeah, please, let's let that roll.
Falling asleep with your head in the wrong position is a pain in the neck. You deserve Tausi Comfort for head, neck, and back support. Go to tausibrands.com and get your comfort on.
Thank you once again to Tausi for sponsoring this show, and Anne-Marie, thank you for joining us. Thank you for all the information, and most importantly, thank you for the work you do in the world. It's so needed. So before we say goodbye, I want to give you one last chance. Let families know where they could find out everything about you as a person, as an organization, how they can help fund you, whatever it is you need. Now's your chance.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, our website is really kind of a one-stop shop. I mean, go to keepingfamiliescovered.org. You can learn about ways to support our work. You can learn about the work that we're doing in the community. You can get tickets to our upcoming event. You can sign up to volunteer. You can make donations securely. You can even choose what program you want to support. It could be a general operating support donation. You could do a diaper donation. You can sponsor a child. You could do 1 month of diapers, 3 months, 6 months, a year's worth. We make it very simple to hopefully get people engaged and want to support our mission.
Yeah, I could think of ways now. I'm always looking for fun activities with my 2 kids, and if we may volunteer at one of these handout events, you can rest assured I'll be there with 2 little ones as well. So this has just been such an inspirational show. My heart has been full. Sia, thank you for all the work you've put into it, and Anne-Marie, thank you so much. So with that being said, please go to hailhailauctions.com. If I can help you raise awareness about your great organization or help you raise money, I'd love to partner with you. Follow us on all the things, and have a great rest of your day. Let's hit that outro.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you.